Welcome to Trading Lounge and the Bitcoin report. Now today we're going to do a little bit of a different thing. We're going to compare yields, bonds, the US dollar to Bitcoin. There's been a bit of chatter about that online, and I haven't really seen anybody explain it reasonably clearly, so I thought I'd have a crack at that. So bear with me, but I just wanted to have a look at here on the CME futures contracts here. So these leverage funds here, these really are the ones that can tend to push the market around somewhat. The other ones obviously important, and we can see that asset managers are just hodling here, of course. But these ones here, the leverage, so I just call these hedge funds. We can see that they're holding this amount here and this amount on the short side over here for that. So that's pretty significant. I also heard somebody say that the current volume in the market is the lowest in history at the moment, before we had that little drop. I don't know the where that came from and what the facts are about that, but I just thought that was interesting, and I'll sort of research that in due course. So one of the things that I wanted to start with, and just to see how markets push and pull off each other, this is the US 5-year bonds here, the yield, right? Now the reason I'm showing this for is because it's got a nice clean low here. So if I go to the 10 years, and you'll see this on the treasuries as well, at the top of the market. So on the 10-year yields here, you've got Elliott Wave people trying to figure out what's going on with all of this here, and you'll see all sorts of counts with that. But if you go to back to the 5-year yield here, you'll see that's all sorted out here. And what we've actually got here is we've got a nice wave 1 and 2 here. And then we've got a nice, and this will be the same for most countries as well. And we've got another nice little 5-wave structure up here for wave 3, and then wave 4 here. So we're in wave 5 here at the moment. You would expect that if the extension is in wave 3 here, then wave 1 and wave 5 would be roughly the same. So it's like this 5th wave here is not completed. I won't go into a lot of, we're on the weekly chart, I won't go into the daily chart and check on all of that. We've got a bit of ground to cover, but you could see that the first move here is still quite small compared to this one here. So we're going to see a stronger yield. Now, this is in log scale, so we'll be coming up to the 5 here. Now, on the, I'm going to go to the monthly chart, but I'm going to do that on the 10-year yields here, so because there's just more history on this particular charting program here. So back into the, well, in fact, I'm going to go to the monthly chart, actually. That will just make things a little bit easy, just so you've got a nice big sort of picture of it. So we've got this top over here in the 80s. Now, if you're old enough, you'll remember that. And now what's happened is that those 5 waves that we just talked about are these 5 waves here. So when these 5 waves are finished, that means we're going to have an ABC correction pulling back. So they'll get somewhere down to 2.5% or something like that in this pullback here. And then they're going to push up again. Now, the 61.8% from the old highs over here to the low here, the 61.8% is around the 10% mark here. Now, we could view this as wave A and B and C. Heavens forbid if we look at it as wave 1 and 2 here and 3, 4, 5 up here. We'll be up there with unfortunately Pakistan, Egypt, even up there somewhere, and some of those countries that are suffering at the moment. But look, all I can say is that we've got 5 waves here. That means we'll get a correction, we'll get another 5 up here. So that's where the yields stand at the moment. So the other interesting thing here, if we just, oops, daisy, if I just come back to the daily chart here for a moment, we'll just be on the on the 10-year yields here for a moment. So basically, I will go back to the 5 here just because I want you to sort of understand this a little bit. So so we've got these 5 waves up here. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I'll just come back to the weekly for that, just to simplify things a little bit, you know. So there are our 5 waves here, and then we've got, just to, on the flip side of this, we've got the the bonds to the downside here. So you know that this is also shown up here as being, you know, it's been a bit spiky. Sometimes you got to include spikes and sometimes you don't. I can see here that we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. Do you know what I mean? So I'm not concerned about that. That's how I normally resolve it. But looking at the 5-year yields, it resolves itself. And we're still left here with wave 1 here, okay, and 2 here, and a beautiful 3rd wave down, and a 4th wave down, and a 5th wave down. So while the yields pushing to the upside, the bonds are going to be pushing to the downside here. So this is all important because you'll get obviously the FX market. So, you know, we'll be pivoting off all of the currencies will be pivoting off all of this, because at the moment, when we look at the 5-year yields here on this one here, while this is moving up, we've got the US dollar moving up. Okay, so we're going to go across to the US dollar now, and this is the US dollar here, and it's pushing up here at the moment. So basically the stock market, the bonds are in trouble, right? So everybody's chasing the yield, so they'll be buying the dollar. There's not a lot of volume coming into the dollar here at the moment. As I mentioned last week, you can see that the price is moving up, but the volume is not increasing, it's decreasing as it's going up. And this is a weekly chart for this market. And there's two different ways to count this market here. In a nutshell, there's basically this here is either going to push up here somewhere and then it's going to push down. That's one way to look at it. The other way to look at this here in a nutshell is that we would see this move up here, come into these somewhere amongst between these old highs here somewhere, and finish off here and pull back in 3 waves and then push up here higher. I'm thinking when the yields top out, right, and the bonds down below bottom out, then we'll see a top in the US dollar here. So there's 2 wave counts for this here. I can just quickly show you those while we're here. We may as well, because we're in this space at the moment. One of them is this one here, where we have down from the top as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down to here, and then we have the A wave here and A, B, C for the B wave, and 5 waves up here for wave C. Now, I kind of like this for 2 reasons. I like it because it's in line with the gold count, which is doing the inverse of this, right? And secondly, if I go to the this particular market here, the dollar fund here, you'll see that, I'll just go back here for a moment, this low that was made here, it's obviously been pushed down very quickly here, hasn't it, you know? So something's gone out of whack there. So, but when I go over to the fund here, that had a spike in the market, but it didn't have a new low below here. So that wave count that I've got here as coming down for 1 here, that would be, or we just look at it as an ABC pattern as well. This makes it a little, doesn't make it so terrifying, I guess is the word. So I'll just take it easy on this. And so this would be, well, actually, this would be, I couldn't go that way. I'd have to go WXY here for this. And I don't do those lightly, but So this would be, so this dollar fund never had that spiky low. So it kind of makes a nice 5 waves here with a WXY here, and just coming up here and then coming down here at this point. So this is this is one way to look at this. If I looked at this here coming up for wave 1 here with an A and a B and a C wave up here, and this is important for Bitcoin, by the way, and I'll show you in a moment. So this coming up, so we've got 2 things going on. We've got basically one that goes up to here, and this would be in line with gold. It's quite good, and then it'll come down at this point. The other one here, as I mentioned, this move up here, this would go up to here somewhere, come back, and then it'll push up to 107, 108 up there, which is the 50-60% retracement level area up there, and this would become wave 1 over here, and this would play out a little bit differently here. So this would play out as a triangle pattern in here. So this would be wave 3 here with an A, B, C, D, and E here for 4, and then 5 here to make 1, and then the ABC pattern up here, and then down. So it's how this resolves itself. There's 2 counts for that, so that's sort of another story. But this will affect gold, and it will also affect Bitcoin as well, as the way that I see it. So why will that be the case? So let's we might just do it here. So this is a weekly chart here. And the blue is the US dollar, and the orange is Bitcoin here. So you could see pretty, I mean, when we know sort of flatlining here a little bit, so it's a bit difficult to see here, but you can see that while the US dollar was coming down, Bitcoin was coming up in that, in the 2017 sort of area here. You can see this going up, this coming down. Not a perfect world, but as we sort of open it up a little bit, we can see that there is, while this is moving up here, we've got Bitcoin moving down here, and from this top up here, while the US dollar's been coming down, we've been seeing Bitcoin move up here. But now we're seeing it's starting to take the toll here a little bit. We're starting to see the US dollar sort of test, going to break out of this channel line here or get locked in there, and all of those sorts of things. That probably runs all the way through there somewhere. But, anyway, it's just sort of pushing up here, and we're seeing this push down here. So as I mentioned, this particular move up here could be in 2 ways. It can either be an ABC, or it can just be that, we come down from that point. So there's two ways that can be. So then this is going to affect it here. It's going to affect Bitcoin in its own little way at that point, So that's sort of just another way to look at things, I guess. So then we need to have a look at Bitcoin. So basically, will Bitcoin come straight down? Will Bitcoin just come down a little bit? Will it come further down and then go up? Or so either we're going to look at a count that will just take it down here a little tiny bit and then go up, take down a bit further, or we can look at a count that's going to be down here for the A wave, the B wave, and the C wave here, a flip side of what's going on here. Okay, so with that in mind, this is a count that that the Elliott people will go to first. So they've had the wave 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 here. But if this move down here takes that low out there, then it's going to invalidate this. So it is possible for this here to count. And we'll look at this shortly too. From the B wave, we could look at this just in very simple terms as wave 3, 4, 5 coming down here, right? It's doable from this. Look, putting that in as the top, the A wave over here, the B wave here, and the C wave over here. But it's going to bring it, the $25 mark here, the 25,000 rather, the 25 is the closest largest number, and that's going to offer good support, but it's very close to what's going on with this structure over here. So is this is possible, plausible, maybe, probable, not. So it's it'll probably fail at this point, because I can see that every trend's got a beginning, a middle, and an end. And then from this top here, this move down here, you could look at that as wave 1 or 2, or you could look at it as 1 and 2 and 1 and 2. But definitely this is a third wave here. And if it's a third wave here, we're going to have a couple of 4s and 5s, which are going to bring it down pretty close to here. So this is a little bit unlikely, this particular count here. So that means that we need to look at other ways and see how far it can come back. So the normal thing is to take the bigger picture view of it all and look from the top to the bottom there, and look over here for a move further down into the 50-60% area here. So this is probably a little bit more realistic, you know. And then the other thing that we need to sort of understand as well, will it come down as an ABC, or will it come down as from the top here? I'm going to look at this in a couple of different counts. So we're going to look at it as where the A and the B here as 1 and 2, and 3, 4, 5 here. That would be 1, and that would be an A wave, and then a B wave going back up, hitting supply, and then another 5 waves down here, and then moving up at that point. So a much larger ABC pattern. And this is where the US dollar and the yields come in, and so on. But you know, when you look at the treasuries, wherever that was, it's gone. Over here, this one. These here, you can quite clearly see here that this move down here, while this is moving down, the dollar's going up, and this is, you know, what this placed pressure on Bitcoin as well because of the dollar going up. So this here, we could look at this as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here for wave 1 here, 2 here, and then we've just got the third wave. Third wave normally comes down and hits the low here, and then the fourth wave is bumping around the low, making it all complicated, and then the fifth wave down. But it's still got a lot of time to come down here, and that's just counting it conservatively. I might have to go to here and count that as 1 and 2. I think it's the one in the middle here, but I've got to double check that. But yeah, there's different ways to count it down, but either which way you look at it, it's not finished coming down. So that means the dollar's not finished going up. So there's quite a lot of time to be spent here. That's my thing at the moment. So when I'm looking at this ABC pattern here, you know, that's kind of around the same time thing. You know, we may not go that high, all sorts of things can occur, but this is something that we need to look at. So I'm just giving the good, the bad, and the ugly of it. So if we were going to see something like this, then we would need to review the situation of this count to the upside here. And the most logical step is looking at this here as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for 1 and 2 and 3. This is ugly enough to be a fourth wave, and yes, it overlaps here, but the fifth wave here is shorter than the third wave. Yeah, so that would be it. The other question is it wave A or is it wave 1 up there? But that's that can be either. I think this is the same situation. We'll have that wave A or 1 will be the same situation with the US dollar and the yields as well. And these TLTs that we're seeing here, these treasuries here, all of this down here is just the A wave down here, by the way. You know, so all of this here will be just the A wave, the B wave, and the C wave down here, and it could even be wave 3 coming down. That's how you know, that's what it could look like at the end of the day. You know, we don't know that yet. You know, there's quite a nice history going back here of all of this. So to have an ABC here is not a big thing. We've got 5 waves here, right? So we're going to have a correction. We're going to have another 5 over here. So this is what's going on in the markets. Yeah. So where are we? Over here, back over here. So yeah, looking at this here as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it can be an A wave, it can be wave 1. It doesn't really matter at this particular point. The question is how's this going to play out here? You know, is it going to be 1, 2? Is it going to be an A, B, C down to here and then go straight up from there, or is it going to give us 5 waves down here and then give us a B wave and a C wave here? That's the you know, that's the gist of it all, really, at this point. So let me just see here. Okay, so this is where those 5 waves down, looking at the top here being wave 1 or wave A here, and the top here 5 waves here. That means that we'd look at this. We'd have a look at it both ways here. We're on 4 hours, so we've got all of this as wave 1 and 2 here, and we can go to the intraday and have a look at this. But in a nutshell, if I can just help this out here, I'd have to go to the intraday and look at this. But basically, we've got this wave 4 here. So this would be, still need wave 3 here, wave 4 here, and wave 5 here for the wave 5 of 3, and then 4, and then 5 here, and then the ABC back up here, and then down again. That's if we get 5 waves down. Currently, if we were going to look at this as the shortest move to the upside, as an A wave here and a B wave here and a C wave here. As a C wave here, it's really quite sharp. You know, it's a bit too sharp for that. It's suited better to a wave 3. So I know these will rally quite high here if we go into the minutes here. Let's just go to 15 minutes here. They will rally quite high here because that was interesting because that other spike wasn't there on. It was there on one chart but not another. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, different charts giving you different things. So yeah, anyway, I'm going to look past that spike on that and can resolve that later. So from this top here being wave B or wave 2, whichever way you want, I have pulled all this apart, and there's wave 1 and 2 here, and then this is all 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 in here. So from this wave 2 in brackets up the top here, that wave 2 in brackets, that will be wave 3 down here for this. So there'll be waves. We might need to go in here a little bit further, maybe into 5 minutes, and just check on this here. There's that spike again, so it's just popping up wherever it wants. But yes, so wave 2 in brackets. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for 1 and 2 here, and then 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 5 in here for the third down here. So it's a little bit messy in here, but I see this. I see this rally up here still needs to come down for this wave 5 and 3 over here, for 5 and 3 here, and then wave 4 over here, wherever wave 4's gone over here somewhere, and then wave 5 to come down here further. So there's a bit more to come down here, I think. So down and some sort of 3 wave back up, check and supply, and then another move down here, and then a kind of a move. So it's going to be something like this down here. So yeah, so that's it in a bit of a nutshell. So it's just the good, bad, and the ugly, and just trying to compare everything to see how things bounce off each other, how things fit together, how the US dollar and the yields and the bonds are playing out, and where Bitcoin fits in with that. And obviously you can drag in other markets, and at the end of the day it's a big ball of jelly just sort of wobbling there, and sometimes things are in sync and sometimes they're out, and you can use those things being in sync or not being in sync, and use them to kind of understand and get a sort of a feeling for direction as such. Alrighty, I'll leave it at that. Thanks for tuning in. Cheers.